Welcome to this deep dive. We're exploring some really interesting ideas today, drawing from the ebook, The Great Awakening to Intentional Consciousness, the QuantSciousness Code.
That's right, specifically pages 20 through 25. And fair warning, some of these concepts are pretty unconventional, maybe even feel a bit wild at first glance.
Exactly. That's kind of the point, though, isn't it? We know you value getting knowledge quickly, but also deeply, and you're open to those aha moments. So let's jump in.
Okay, so the ebook kicks things off by asking something pretty fundamental. Why do we tend to dismiss new sort of fantastic ideas so quickly?
Yeah, why label them conspiracy theories almost immediately?
Right. It points to, well, maybe societal conditioning, the way we're sort of trained to react to things outside the mainstream.
It even playfully asks about overlords of deception, which sounds dramatic, but
But the point isn't really about literal overlords, is it? It's more a provocative way to ask, why the strong opposition? What's behind that immediate dismissal?
it's a fair question. Are we limiting ourselves
Mm.
by just, shutting down unconventional thinking before we even really consider it?
That seems to be the core question the source wants us to ponder. Maybe our quick judgments are holding us back.
Okay, so to explore that, the ebook uses a really good analogy involving our own senses, our limitations.
Yes, our vision. It's quite stark when you think about it. We see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum, just a tiny, tiny slice.
Think about like radio waves, Wi-Fi, microwaves,
Hmm.
all around us, but invisible to our eyes.
Exactly. And the book asks, well, does the fact we can't see X-rays mean they're not real?
Of course not. We use them medically all the time. Same with hearing, right?
Yeah.
Dogs hear frequencies we can't.
Precisely. So the connection the ebook makes is if we accept all these unseen energies as real,
Which we do.
then why the immediate resistance to other potential realities suggested by, say, quantum science? It's suggesting a potential inconsistency in our thinking.
That's a powerful point. It definitely frames our perceived reality as potentially quite narrow, which leads us nicely into the next big chunk, quantum reality.
And how it relates to our sense of self. This is where it gets, well, pretty mind-bending.
Okay, lay it on us. Quantum mechanics.
Right, the science of the very, very small atoms, particles, where things don't behave like our everyday world. The ebook uses this to suggest that reality, even solid stuff.
Like this table.
Yeah.
Or even our bodies.
Yeah, it suggests our belief systems interpret that underlying quantum level. And then it drops that quote, "You are not a physical entity, but that is fine because neither am I."
Whoa. Okay, unpack that. Not physical. What does that mean according to the source?
Well, the explanation is that we're fundamentally energetic quantum particles, tiny packets of energy vibrated.
Everything else at that level.
Kind of, yeah.
Right.
And our consciousness is what interprets these particles. Our beliefs act like filters, shaping how we perceive this energy, shaping it into the solid world we experience.
So, consciousness interacts with this energy field, and based on our beliefs, which the book says come from investigation or indoctrination,
Right, either exploring ourselves or just accepting what we're told.
we construct our reality, including our sense of being a physical body.
That's the essence of it. We're presented as energetic consciousness interacting with other energetic consciousnesses within this vibrational matrix. It's a fundamental shift in perspective.
It really is. How does that land with you, thinking of yourself not as primarily physical, but as, like, interpreted quantum energy? It's a lot to take in.
Definitely challenges the standard view, and this idea builds directly into the next point, the existence of the unseen.
Which makes sense, following the limits of perception argument.
Exactly. The ebook basically says, look, maybe consider things you've previously just written off.
And it states it quite boldly. Everything exists, whether or not you choose to believe it or not.
The implication being that our current inability to measure or observe something doesn't negate its existence.
It just highlights our current limitations, not the limits of reality itself.
Precisely. Keep an open mind. Acknowledge we don't know everything. That's the takeaway there.
Okay, so if we're not just physical then,
Yeah.
who are we? The book dives into this next.
It does. It acknowledges the scientific picture, complex chemistry, electrical signals in the brain.
The biological machine view.
Yeah. But it suggests that feels incomplete, like something's missing from that picture.
And the hypothesis offered is that we're these energy packets.
With huge potential, and not just isolated packets, but woven into the very fabric of reality.
Connected to that wider electromagnetic field, maybe even quantum dimensions beyond our normal spacetime.
That's what the source hints at, yes. Interconnectedness on a fundamental energetic level.
Which puts consciousness front and center, doesn't it? Is it just a brain thing, or is it more fundamental?
That's the key question it raises. Is consciousness just an output of the brain, or does it actually interact with reality? Does it influence things?
And the theory explored is that maybe our thoughts, our intentions, they could actually shape reality on some deeper level.
Potentially, yes. That our inner state isn't just passive but active. For someone interested in the mind's power, that's a really potent idea.
Absolutely an aha
Yeah.
moment waiting to happen, perhaps. Now, shifting slightly, the book talks about choice,
Mm.
the paradox of choice, and the multiverse.
Yeah, this is another fascinating turn. It paints life as this tapestry of decisions we make.
Big ones, small ones, constantly choosing paths.
And then it poses this wild question. What if every choice creates a split, a branching reality, leading to a multiverse of all possible outcomes?
So that Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken, it's not just a metaphor for regret, but maybe a description of an actual alternate reality.
That's the speculative idea put forward, that other paths are being lived out, and it even wonders if we can somehow, maybe intuitively, access wisdom from those other selves.
Wow. Okay. Mind officially bending.
And it connects this even to something simple, like daydreaming.
Daydreaming. How so?
Well, it suggests maybe daydreams aren't just idle fantasy. Perhaps they're little glimpses, little explorations into these other potential states of being or parallel realities.
Like tuning into a different frequency for a moment, exploring possibilities within ourselves, or maybe even getting a hint of the multiverse.
It's presented as a possibility worth considering, yeah. Elevating the significance of our inner mental wanderings.
So wrapping up this section, pages 20 to 25, they really cover some ground, don't they?
Absolutely. From questioning why we dismiss new ideas, to the limits of our senses, to quantum reality not being purely physical, the role of consciousness.
And then branching realities and maybe even daydreams as portals. It's a dense few pages with some profound questions.
Definitely a lot to chew on. It really pushes you to think about reality, who you are, and what consciousness might be.
We really encourage you to sit with these ideas, see what resonates,
Yeah.
what challenges you, what sparks curiosity.
Yeah, what feels right, what feels way out there. It's all part of the exploration.
Please do comment, share your thoughts with us, and subscribe if you haven't already. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the Great Awakening to Intentional Consciousness, the QuantSciousness Code.
And maybe leave you with this thought. If the source is right, even partially, that our perceptions help shape our reality.
And what amazing new realities might become available just by trying on a new perspective. Something to think about.